Just your reaction to what went down and Carter's ejection.
Utterly disgusted. Utterly disgusted. It's inexcusable. And, you Jalen Carter, first of all, he should have been ejected. Secondly, I think he should be suspended for at least one game. You don't spit on anybody. You don't spit on a man. That's number one. Number two.
Or a woman.
Of course. But I'm just talking about football players on the field, obviously. Obviously, then you think about it. Who's the most protected football player on the field? It's the quarterback. Sure. You spit on Dak Prescott, you don't think somebody's going to see that? Just the dumbest possible thing. And if you're Jalen Carter, I want to look in the camera. I want one of my ISO shots. Let me be Stephen A. here. Let me say this to Jalen Carter. Remember that car crash incident that you got into in 2023? That ultimately led to you falling to the 9th pick in the NFL draft when you were projected as the number 1 overall pick. Nobody thought about that until last night. Because you fell because of your off-field behavior. People didn't trust you. Now you come on the field and you conduct yourself like that and you listen to radio driving in. And what are people talking about? Well, this was a problem. And, obviously this is an on-field incident. This has nothing to do with the car crash that happened in 2023. I'm just using it to remind these guys what you do and how you act stays with you. I don't want to be up here talking about this morning. I don't want this kid's career compromised. I don't want his reputation tainted. I don't want him smeared. But when you spit on a man, when you spit on him on the football field, when you spit on a quarterback and you get yourself ejected before the game, Dak Prescott wasn't sacked once last night. We didn't anticipate that was going to happen. But it happened because you were out there. You weren't out there. And the Philadelphia Eagles had to adjust to life without their best defensive player. You thought about yourself. You didn't think about your teammates at all. It was stupid. You walked off the field with a smile on your face. What the hell is smiling about? What the hell was there to smile about? It was stupid. It was immature. And as far as I'm concerned, not only does he deserve a rejection, he deserves a suspension because of that. Because you got to send a message if you're the league. We ain't tolerating this kind of nonsense.
Talk about the start of the game. Jalen Carter was ejected for spitting on Dak Prescott. And a new video angle showed that Dak spit first at the ground in Carter's direction, smiled and laughed. Carter then walked towards the Cowboys huddle, leaning, the two exchanging words, and Carter spit on Dak. NFL needed to suspend him.
One game? Yeah,
one game.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's feasible. I think it's feasible. You can't do that, I don't care. You can talk trash. You can say what you want to say. You can say whatever you want to say. For one, you inside they huddle. You cross the ball inside they huddle. Go at it with whatever. Listen, you're already intimidating. You're already top 3 at your position in the NFL. There's nothing you can say or do that you haven't already put on film. We need to be going at it with that. We understand what the damage you were going to do in this game. To go out there and spit on somebody, that's the worst thing that you can do to anybody, That's the worst thing you can do to anybody. Spitting on someone is uncalled for. Spitting on someone is, we have to fight no matter what. We at a funeral, we at church, we in the street. Spitting is off limits. That's something you just. I'm surprised Dak was able to restrain himself. I understand that.
He a quarterback. And anything that I do, first of all, I swing on him. I hurt my hand. I need this to throw the football.
But don't swing on him. I mean, I just something. There is nobody you can find in the chat if you switch. What if that was you, What you would have did? Jalen Carter spit on you right there in the middle of the field.
I'm gonna get thrown out of the game.
I don't think there's any other player, and I think because Dak is a quarterback, he had to react the way he did. It's commendable. Because you don't expect like that to happen.
Chad, stop. Dak did not spit on him.
Spit on the floor.
Y'all need to stop. Chad, y'all need to stop with this. Oh, Dak spit at him. Dak spit on the ground. Dak was in his huddle.
Yeah, he
Did y'all see where Dak was? Y'all make it seem like Dak walked up to him, spit on the ground right in front of his shoes. Did you see where Dak was? He walked towards Dak and spit on him. Chad, stop this. You can't, y'all try to conflate, well, he did this, so that's why he did that. No, it's not the same, Chad, and you know it. He got baited, he got cost himself, and he's probably going to get suspended the game. You do these kind of antics when you're not a good enough a player. He's too good of a player. He doesn't need to do shenanigans. He don't need to do this, Ocho. He's that good. He's an all-pro. He's a Pro Bowl player. He doesn't need to do any of that now. He can just let his play speak for itself.
Which I know it was going to do. You do understand he's top 3 at his position?
Yes, I realize how good he can be.
What is he doing? I don't understand. Like you're in the conversation with Chris Jones and Jeffrey Simmons. Like you are him.
Yes.
I don't get it.
Because here's the thing. This is how I know he doesn't know how good he is, because he does stuff like this. Aaron Donald, Reggie White, they didn't have to do nothing like this. They say, you know what I'm gonna do? I get you. Okay, you want to wink at me, Dak? You want to spit?
Yeah.
I get you. You do. That's why quarterbacks don't do much. They don't say anything. Because the guy they talking to can come over there and literally break their damn neck.
Every time.
The Philadelphia Eagles coach has fired Jalen Carter after the spitting incident on Dak Prescott. No suspension, no fine first. Fired. The locker room is stunned, the fan base is melting down, and the league office phones are ringing off the hook. Tonight, I'm taking you inside the room where it happened, at the calls that followed, and the seismic shift that's about to redefine not just this rivalry, but how the NFL handles discipline in the modern era. You know the setup. Eagles, Cowboys, Lincoln Financial Field Electric under the Monday night lights. The kind of atmosphere where every breath creates steam, and every heartbeat echoes through 69,000 chests. The defense had just forced a 3-and-out. Carter was walking off the field, adrenaline still coursing, when Prescott jogged past. What happened next lasted 3 seconds, but will echo for years. The spit, the flag, the ejection, the walk to the tunnel with his helmet tucked under his arm like a man carrying his own casket. But our story doesn't start with that moment. It starts with what happened after the cameras cut to commercial. Carter's cleats echo against concrete as he moves through the bowels of Lincoln Financial Field, past the training room where ice machines hum their mechanical lullabies, past the equipment cage where jerseys hang like ghosts of games future, past the family room where wives and children wait for heroes, who sometimes don't come home the same. He reaches a narrow hallway where fluorescent lights buzz with the persistence of uncertainty. His shoulder pads feel heavier with each step. His mouth tastes like copper pennies and poor decisions. A security guard, Big Mike, who's worked Eagles games for 15 seasons, gives him a nod. Not judgment, just acknowledgement. Mike has seen careers end in this tunnel. He knows the weight of those footsteps. "Take your time, son," Mike says quietly. Carter stops, turns. For a moment, you can see the 23-year-old kid from Queens beneath the 280-pound frame and $1 million contract. "Mike," he says, voice cracking slightly, "how do you come back from something like this?" Mike's seen a lot of young men ask that question. "Same way you came back from every tackle that knocked you down," he says. "One step at a time. But first, you gotta own what happened." Carter nods, continues walking. He doesn't know it yet, but those might be the last words of wisdom he hears as a Philadelphia Eagle. The door to the coach's office is oak-heavy and serious, the kind that doesn't open by accident. Carter's still in full uniform when he knocks. No answer comes, but the door swings open anyway. Inside, head coach Nick Sirianni sits behind a desk that's seen better days. The leather chair creaks when he shifts. To his left, GM Howie Roseman leans against the wall, arms crossed, expression unreadable. To his right, team president Don Smolensky holds a manila folder thick enough to stop a screen pass. The room smells like stale coffee and fresh disappointment. "Sit down, Jalen," Sirianni says. His voice carries the weight of a man who's about to break someone's heart. Carter sits. He's still breathing like he just chased down a wheel route. His hands, usually steady enough to bat down Aaron Rodgers' passes, shake slightly as he places them on his knees. "Coach, I know what this looks like, but..." Stop! Sirianni's voice doesn't rise, but it lands like a gavel. We're going to talk, but first, you're going to listen. The fluorescent light above flickers once, twice, then holds steady. Outside, 69,000 people are filing toward their cars, most of them still processing what they just witnessed. Inside this 10 by 12 office, a franchise is about to shift on its axis. Sirianni leans forward, his elbows finding familiar grooves in the desk pad. He's had this conversation before. Not this exact version, but variations of it. The conversation every coach hopes they'll never need to have with a player they believe in. Jalen, what did I tell you on draft day? Sirianni asks. Carter's eyes dart to the wall behind the coach. There's a photo from that day. Carter in an Eagles cap, holding up the jersey, Sirianni's arm around his shoulders, both men grinning like they'd just won the lottery. Below it, a smaller frame holds the team motto, Fly as One. You said I was going to help bring a championship to Philadelphia. Before that, Carter swallows hard. You said character and talent have to walk together, or they both fall apart. That's right. Sirianni reaches for the manila folder. This organization has standards, Jalen, not suggestions. Standards. They apply to practice squad players making league minimum, and they apply to first-round picks making 8 figures. The folder slides across the desk with a whisper. Carter stares at it but doesn't reach for it. He knows what's inside. Conduct policies, team rules, behavioral clauses. The fine print that turns dreams into nightmares. Coach, I'll take the fine. I'll take the suspension. I'll stand at every podium and apologize until my voice gives out. The apology matters, Sirianni interrupts, but it doesn't undo what 69,000 people saw tonight. It doesn't undo what millions more will see on repeat for the next week. The desk phone blinks red. Line 1, Jeffrey Lurie, team owner. Sirianni doesn't pick up. Not yet. This isn't personal, Jalen. You're a good kid who made a terrible choice. But this is bigger than you, bigger than me. It's about the promise we make to each other, to this city, to the guys in that locker room who believe in something. Roseman steps forward for the first time. As GM, he's the one who invested a first-round pick in Carter. He's the one who will have to explain to ownership why that investment just evaporated in a Monday night meltdown. Jalen, I went to bat for you in the draft room, Roseman says, his voice steady but strained. When other GMs question your maturity, I pointed to your tape. When scouts worried about your temperament, I talked about your potential. He pauses, runs a hand through his hair. I still believe in that potential, but I can't build a championship team on potential. I need men I can count on when the lights are brightest and the stakes are highest. Carter finally reaches for the folder, opens it. The language is clinical, legal, final. Words like conduct detrimental, breach of contract, and immediate termination blur together through tears he's trying not to shed. There has to be another way, Carter says, his voice barely above a whisper. Sirianni's expression softens for just a moment. Son, I've been coaching for 22 years. I've seen players overcome addiction, legal troubles, family tragedies, career-threatening injuries. I've seen comebacks that made grown men cry. He stands, walks to the window that overlooks the practice field. But I've never seen someone overcome the moment when they stopped being who their teammates needed them to be. Trust is the only currency that matters in this building, and trust, once broken. He doesn't finish the sentence. He doesn't need to. Sirianni finally reaches for the blinking phone. Carter can hear Lurie's voice through the receiver, sharp with urgency and concern. The conversation is brief, businesslike, decisive. Yes, sir, I told him. No, sir, there wasn't another choice. I understand the financial implications. The team is unified on this decision. When he hangs up, The silence feels heavier than the crowd noise that shook the building just 30 minutes earlier. Smolenski opens a different folder, this one containing the logistics of severing ties, security protocols, media statements, exit procedures, the corporate machinery that turns human drama into manageable process. We'll need your playbook, your team-issued equipment, and your building access card, Smolenski says, his tone professional but not unkind. Carter nods numbly. He pulls the lanyard from around his neck. The plastic rectangle that had granted him access to a world he'd dreamed of since he was 7 years old. It lands on the desk with a tiny click that somehow sounds like thunder. "Jalen," Sirianni says, standing, "I want you to know something. This decision doesn't define you unless you let it. You're 23 years old. You have a lifetime to show the world who you really are." Carter stands too, his legs unsteady. "Coach, I dash. Save it for the work," Sirianni says. "The work is what matters now." If you think news travels fast in the digital age, you've never seen a story break in an NFL locker room. It starts with a text message. Equipment manager to beat reporter to editor to social media coordinator. The ripple becomes a wave, becomes a tsunami of notifications, lighting up phones from South Philly to Sports Center. Breaking. Sources tell ESPN the Philadelphia Eagles have released DT Jalen Carter following Monday night ejection. The first reply comes 17 seconds later. "No way!" The second, "This is fake news." The third, "Holy Joel." Within 10 minutes, hashtag Jalen Carter is trending. Within 20, Stephen A. Smith is on ESPN. Airwaves doing what Stephen A. Smith does. Within 30, every NFL insider is working their phone trees, trying to confirm the unthinkable. Back in Lincoln Financial Field, players are still in various stages of undressing, ice baths, and post-game recovery when their phones start buzzing like angry hornets. Brandon Graham, the defensive captain, reads the notification and immediately goes looking for Sirianni. He finds him in the hallway, walking with the measured pace of a man who's made a decision and is prepared to live with it. "Coach," Graham says, his voice tight with disbelief. "Tell me this isn't real." Sirianni stops, looks Graham in the eye. "It's real. But he's just a kid, Coach. Kids make mistakes. Men make choices, BG. Tonight, Jalen made his choice. Now we make ours." The news hits the locker room like a fumble recovery. Chaos, then stillness, then chaos again. Some players stare at their phones in disbelief. Others immediately start making calls. A few veterans nod grimly, having seen this movie before in other cities, with other teams, other young men who confused talent with immunity. Darius Slay, the cornerback who's been mentoring Carter all season, throws his phone into his locker and sits down hard on the bench. "Damn," he says to no one in particular. Just damn. Jalen Hurts, the team captain and quarterback, stands on a chair. The room gradually quiets. "I know y'all got questions," Hurts says, his voice carrying that steady authority that made him a leader. "I got questions too. But right now, we got each other, and we got next Sunday." He pauses, lets his eyes find each teammate. "This ain't about taking sides. This ain't about being mad or sad or whatever. This is about being Eagles, and Eagles fly together, no matter who's missing from the formation." The room is quiet for a long moment. Then someone starts clapping. Then another. Soon, the entire locker room is applauding. Not celebrating, but affirming. Choosing each other. Choosing forward. Outside the locker room, reporters are gathering like storm clouds. Inside, a team is learning what it means to weather that storm together. Philadelphia is a city that loves hard and argues harder. By Tuesday morning, the sports radio airwaves are on fire. WWIP's morning show opens with the sound of a dial tone, then Angelo Cataldi's gravelly voice. Good morning, Philadelphia! We're going to spend the next 4 hours talking about the most controversial decision in Eagles history since we traded Donovan McNabb. The phone lines are already jammed, the parking lot is full of protesters, and I've got 3 producers fact-checking death threats. The first caller is Big Tony from South Philly. Angelo, I've been bleeding green for 47 years and I never seen nothing like this. You don't cut a first-round pick for spitting. You fine him, you suspend him, you make him run laps until his legs fall off, but you don't cut him. The second caller is Maria from Northeast Philly. Tony's wrong, and here's why. My son is 11 years old, and he watches every Eagles game like it's the Super Bowl. What am I supposed to tell him when he asks why his favorite player spit on another man? That it's okay because he's really good at football. The debate rages all morning, all week, all month. Talk show hosts milk it for ratings. Columnists mine it for clicks. Social media influencers pick sides and plant flags. But in the bars around the stadium, in the barbershops and beauty salons, in the construction sites and office buildings where real Eagles fans spend their days, the conversation is more nuanced. I respect it, says Danny, a union electrician who's had season tickets for 15 years. Coach drew a line and stood behind it. How many times we seen teams talk about culture and then fold the minute it gets tested? But at what cost? Responds his co-worker Mike. We're trying to win a championship, not run a Sunday school. Both men are right. Both men are wrong. That's what makes the decision so complex, so compelling, so impossibly human. The Tuesday morning press conference is standing room only. Reporters from every major network, newspaper, and digital platform have descended on the NovaCare complex, like locusts on a wheat field. Sirianni walks to the podium at exactly 11 a.m. His face carries the composed exhaustion of a man who didn't sleep well but isn't backing down. The first question comes from Sal Paolantonio. Coach, can you walk us through your decision-making process last night? The decision was consistent with our team standards and organizational values, Sirianni replies. When someone violates those standards in a way that impacts team chemistry and public trust, we respond accordingly. But coach, follows up Derek Gunn, we're talking about a first-round pick, a player you've called foundational to your defense. Doesn't that merit more consideration? Derek, if the standards change based on draft position or salary, then they're not standards, they're suggestions. We don't operate that way. The questions come rapid fire. Was ownership involved in this decision? Leadership was aligned. Are you concerned about the salary cap implications? We're focused on building a championship team with championship character. Do you regret drafting Jalen Carter? Sirianni pauses for the first time. The room goes quiet enough to hear camera shutters clicking. I regret that we're here, he says slowly. I don't regret believing in young men who want to be part of something special. What's your message to other players who might be watching? The message is the same as it's always been. We're accountable to each other, to the city, and to the standard we set. Excellence isn't just what you do between the lines. It's who you choose to be when the world is watching. He steps away from the podium. No dramatic exit, no mic drop. Just a man walking back to work. Meanwhile, Jalen Carter sits in his Porsche outside a 24-hour gym in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. It's 3:47 a.m. He's been driving for hours, trying to outrun the reality that his dream job ended with a security escort and a box of personal items. His phone has 247 unread text messages, 89 missed calls, and 1,134 new Twitter notifications. He turns it off and walks into the empty gym. The night janitor, an older man named Jose, recognizes him immediately but pretends not to. He just nods and continues mopping, giving Carter the gift of anonymity. Carter finds a jump rope in the corner. starts jumping, counting 1, 2, 3. The rhythm helps quiet the noise in his head. At jump 847, his phone buzzes with a text from his mother. "Baby, I love you. We all make mistakes. Come home when you're ready to talk." At jump 1293, another text, this one from his former college position coach. "I know you're hurting. Remember what I told you about adversity. It doesn't build character, it reveals it. What's your character going to reveal?" At jump 2000, he stops, sits on a bench, looks at himself in the mirror wall. For the first time since the incident, he sees clearly. Not the headlines, not the hot takes, not the social media pile-on, just himself. A 23-year-old man who let anger make a choice his heart never would have made. He picks up his phone and starts typing. "I want to apologize to Dak Prescott, to my former teammates, to Eagles fans, and to everyone who has supported me throughout my career. What I did Monday night was unacceptable and doesn't represent who I am or who I want to be. I take full responsibility for my actions and the consequences that followed. I will use this as an opportunity to grow as a man and hopefully earn another chance to play the game I love with the respect it deserves." He reads it 3 times, then deletes it. Not because the words aren't true, but because words without work are just noise. And he has work to do. News of the Carter release sends shockwaves through NFL front offices, locker rooms, and boardrooms. This isn't just about one player or one team. It's about precedent, philosophy, and the eternal tension between winning and values. In Dallas, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones takes a call from a reporter. "Jerry, what's your reaction to how Philadelphia handled this situation?" "Well, I respect their right to run their organization how they see fit," Jones says diplomatically. "That said, we've always believed in second chances and helping young men grow through their mistakes." Translation? Come to Dallas, Jalen. In Kansas City, Andy Reid, who coached in Philadelphia for 14 years, is asked about his former organization's decision. "I know Nick Sirianni, I know that organization, and I know they don't make decisions lightly. They've got a standard and they're sticking to it. You gotta respect that, even if you might handle it differently." In Cleveland, where second chances are a way of life, GM Andrew Berry is already running background checks and making calls to Carter's representation. The NFL Players Association issues a statement calling for a thorough review of the circumstances and questioning whether the punishment fits the crime. The league office, meanwhile, is quietly pleased. Commissioner Roger Goodell has been pushing teams to self-police on conduct issues. The Eagles just provided a case study in organizational accountability.